you remember the comedy show Welcome Back, Kotter? The show once had millions of viewers across the US, laughing with its witty situations, quirky characters, and heartfelt teacher-student relationships. But behind the laughter lies another world, real-life stories filled with tears, loneliness, and loss that few know about. In today's video, we'll take a look back at the journey of the Welcome Back Kotter cast, where the spotlight fades but their life stories continue. If you were ever impressed by the show or a particular character, leave a comment with the number 1. If not, feel free to comment 0, just so I know how you feel. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on more emotional behind-the-scenes stories. In the show, John Sylvester White played Principal Michael Woodman, the strict, stern teacher who somehow became impossible to dislike because of the charm and sincerity hidden behind his cold exterior. John was born on October 31st, 1919 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and from a young age he dreamed of becoming an actor. However, his personal life wasn't as smooth as his on-screen roles. In 1944, he married actress Joan Alexander, but their marriage lasted only a year and they had no children. After the divorce, John chose a life of solitude, which made him even more quiet and reserved in the noisy world of entertainment. In the show, he was always at the center of the classroom's chaos, but in real life, his home was heartbreakingly silent. While the audience laughed, he returned to solitude, a stark contrast that often led him to deep contemplation. By the mid-1980s, John's health had seriously declined. A longtime smoker, he was eventually diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, a deadly and rapidly progressing illness. Chemotherapy left his body frail, and the once bright gaze that had captivated audiences now became the tired eyes of someone who had endured too many life changes. Wanting to shield the public from his frailty, John left Hollywood and moved to Waikiki, Hawaii. In the sound of the waves and the sea breeze, he sought peace, as if wanting to close his life gently. On September 11, 1988, John Sylvester White passed away at the age of 68. He had no children, no heirs leaving behind, only the image of a strict yet kind-hearted Mr. Woodman, forever etched in the memories of his audience. His legacy was not one of wealth, but of the joy and laughter he brought to millions. A quiet artist, dedicating himself fully to his craft even in solitude. Debralee Scott joined Welcome Back Kotter in 1975 at the age of 22, playing Rosalie Hotzi Totsi, a smart, strong yet emotional character. Her role brought youth and vibrancy to the lively classroom of Mr. Kotter. Born on April 2, 1953 in Elizabeth, New Jersey, Deborah was the youngest of 4 sisters. She quickly became famous for her beauty and talent, making her a familiar face on American television. However, behind the spotlight, her personal life was filled with turbulence. Deborah was involved in high-profile relationships with Desi Arnaz Jr., Ringo Starr, and Jonathan Frakes, which garnered considerable media attention. However, each of her relationships ended in heartbreak, leaving her with deep emotional scars. As her acting career began to stagnate in the 1990s, she shifted her focus to artist management, hoping to find stability and peace. Her greatest hope came when she met John Dennis Levy, a New York police officer. The two became engaged, and Deborah believed she had finally found her safe harbor. But fate was cruel. Levy lost his life in the 9/11 terrorist attacks while on duty at the South Tower of the World Trade Center. Deborah experienced profound loss, which led her to turn to alcohol and caused her health to deteriorate. In 2005, while caring for her sick sister in Florida, she herself fell seriously ill with liver disease and passed away on April 5th at the age of 52 after waking on her birthday, April 2nd, feeling more at peace. Despite her short life and leaving behind no material wealth, Deborah left a vivid memory of a talented, proud artist, a symbol of resilience, sincere love, and a passionate life. Her life, though brief, stands as a testament to courage and sincerity in both love and art. Deborah lived a short life, but one full of intense emotions and passion. It's hard to believe that when she started playing Julie Kotter in 1975, Marcia Strassman was just 27 years old. She portrayed the patient, kind-hearted wife who always kept her husband, teacher Kotter, grounded amidst the chaos of the classroom. On screen, Julie was a symbol of compassion and understanding. Off-screen, Marcia also had a strong heart, but her journey was filled with challenges. Marcia A. Strassman was born on April 28, 1948 in New York City. From a young age, she stood out due to her bright looks and natural expressive abilities. Upon entering Hollywood, she quickly made a name for herself, not only through Welcome Back, Kotter, but also in iconic films like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. In 1984, Marcia married screenwriter and director Robert Collector, and they had a daughter named Elizabeth. However, the marriage lasted only 5 years. After the divorce, Marcia became a single mother while trying to maintain her career in the harsh world of Hollywood. Friends recall that she often shed tears for being typecast as the image of a devoted wife on TV, while in real life she had to face the pressures of survival and the loneliness of being a single mother. Tragedy struck in 2007 when Marcia Strassman was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. However, instead of hiding her illness, she chose to confront it with rare honesty and courage. Not only did Marcia endure the pain, but she also began writing and published her memoir Life with a Side Order of Cancer in 2008. In each page, she openly shared her exhaustion, fear, but also her hope, faith, and gratitude. Her story touched the hearts of thousands, becoming a source of inspiration for those battling this terrible disease. After 7 years of courageous fighting, Marcia Strassman passed away on October 24, 2014, at her home in Sherman Oaks, California, at the age of 66. She left behind an estimated estate of $1.5 million and an invaluable legacy, courage, determination, and a book that empowered countless people facing illness. Marcia, who once played the gentle wife on screen, proved through her own life that true strength is not about avoiding pain but about facing it and turning it into hope for herself and those around her. Marcia Strassman is a symbol of resilience and extraordinary willpower. Her story continues to inspire many, even though she has passed. If you admire Marcia, leave a comment with the number 2, and if not, comment with the number 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss new videos. Do you remember Arnold Horshack with his unique laugh that became a trademark in Welcome Back? Kotter actor Ron Palillo was just 26 years old at the time, but his portrayal quickly became an unforgettable part of 1970s television memories. Ronald Gabriel Palillo was born on April 6 in 1949 in New Haven, Connecticut. From a young age, he was passionate about the stage, even forming a summer theater group when he was just 14. He went on to perform in Shakespeare plays like Macbeth and A Midsummer Night's Dream. Success came quickly, but Ron soon realized that fame did not equate to freedom. After rising to fame with his role as Horshack in Welcome Back, Kotter, Ron Palillo became closely associated with the image of the goofy, fun-loving student who always made the audience laugh. However, this image became a shadow that was not easy to shake off, making it difficult for directors to offer him serious roles. Few knew that, despite his success on screen, Ron faced a personal life filled with struggles. He lived with his partner Joseph Graham for over 40 years, but their love had to remain hidden as society at the time could not yet accept an openly gay relationship. Despite being gradually forgotten by Hollywood, Ron did not abandon his love for the arts. he shifted his focus to teaching acting, directing theater, and even writing children's books, hoping to bring joy and laughter to a new generation. For Ron, no matter the challenges in life, laughter was always his magic, something he cherished and shared, even though the one creating the laughter often had to live with hidden sorrow. Ron taught us that art is not just about fame, but the ability to bring joy to others. On August 14, 2012, Ron Palillo suddenly passed away from a heart attack at his home in Florida at the age of 63. His passing left many heartbroken and full of regret.
The person who discovered him was Joseph, his partner, who had stood by Ron's side for nearly half a century. The tragedy became even more painful when it was revealed that just 7 months earlier, Ron's close co-star Robert Hegyes, who played Juan Eberstein in Welcome Back, Kotter, also passed away from heart disease. This great loss left fans and the artistic community feeling as though they had lost an irreplaceable part of their world. Ron was buried at St. Lawrence Cemetery, West Haven, Connecticut. Though he left behind an estate of about $1 million, what he left behind that was truly invaluable was the memory of a dedicated artist, one who taught the world that behind every laugh is a heart full of love, resilience, and a constant desire to share with others. In 1975, at the age of 24, Robert Hegyes stepped into the entertainment world with his role as Juan Epstein in the popular TV show Welcome Back, Kotter. With his fiery yet lovable personality playing a student who always held up his mother's permission slip to escape trouble, Robert quickly captured the hearts of viewers. His performance not only brought laughter, but also conveyed a message of authenticity and vibrant energy. Juan Epstein wasn't just a humorous character, he became a symbol of unique personalities, a blend of mischief and an undeniable charm. Born in Perth, Amboy, New Jersey on May 7, 1951, Robert Hegyes was the eldest child in a working-class family. From a young age, he showed a strong passion for the performing arts. While still in high school, Robert participated in school plays, and with his talent, he eventually made his way to the Broadway stage, leaving a lasting impression. His career truly took off when Welcome Back, Kotter aired, making Robert Hegyes a cultural icon across America in the 1970s.
However, outside the spotlight, Robert's personal life wasn't always smooth sailing. He went through 3 marriages to Mary Coons, Kyle Drummer, and Lynn O'Hare, but all ended in separation. Despite this, Robert never gave up and always found comfort in his children, Cassandra and Mac. Being a father was his greatest pride, even though the love of family couldn't fill all the sorrow Robert faced in life. As his acting career began to slow down, he found a new path in education. With a passion for teaching, Robert returned to school, but not as a student. Instead, he became a film studies teacher at Venice High School in California. His students always remembered him as an energetic teacher who encouraged them to dare to be different, dare to dream. Robert was not only a great teacher, but also a tremendous source of inspiration, helping students recognize the value of creativity and self-belief. However, Robert's health began to deteriorate. Years of stressful work combined with his long battle with heart disease gradually wore down his body. On January 26, 2012, Robert Hegyes suddenly passed away from a heart attack at his home in Metuchen, New Jersey, the very place where he had started his acting dream. He passed away at the age of 60, leaving behind 2 children, beloved students, and millions of fans who still remember the mischievous smile of Juan Epstein. His estate was estimated at around $800,000, not much compared to his former fame, but the spiritual legacy he left behind is priceless. Robert is a testament to the fact that fame does not guarantee happiness, but passion and love for one's craft can make a life truly meaningful. When Pat Morita appeared in Welcome Back, Kotter in 1976 as Taro Takahashi, he was 44 years old, much older than the rest of the young cast. His gentle demeanor and charming performance made the audience laugh. But few knew that this small man had endured a childhood that no child should ever have to suffer. Pat, whose full name was Noriyuki Pat Morita, was born on June 28, 1932 in Hilton, California, to a Japanese-American family. At just 2 years old, he contracted spinal tuberculosis, which left him bedridden in the hospital for 9 years. Doctors once thought he would never walk again. But miraculously, through extraordinary determination, Pat recovered and learned to walk again as a teenager. Pat's childhood was also overshadowed by racial discrimination during and after World War II. His family was forced into an internment camp for Japanese Americans. Those years deeply instilled in Pat a resilient will and an optimistic spirit, qualities that later defined his portrayal of Mr. Miyagi. Before becoming famous, Pat worked various jobs to make a living, from waitering and working as a mechanic to performing stand-up comedy in clubs under the stage name The Hip Nip, a self-deprecating name used to soothe societal prejudices. It was this sense of humor that led to his invitations to appear on television shows like Happy Days and Welcome Back, Kotter. His greatest success came in 1984 when he portrayed Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. The wise, calm, and compassionate martial arts mentor turned Pat Morita into a global cultural icon, earning him an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. However, his personal life remained challenging. Pat's 2 marriages, first to Kathleen Yamachi and later to Yuki Kitahara, both ended in divorce. He had children, but due to his work and deteriorating health, he was rarely able to be close to them. His battle with alcoholism persisted for many years, silently taking a toll on his body. By the 1990s, Pat's health had significantly declined due to kidney failure and liver complications. Despite this, he continued performing, acting in films and meeting with fans until his body could no longer endure. Pat Morita passed away in 2005, as confirmed by several sources, at the age of 73. He left peacefully, leaving behind the image of a kind, humorous, and resilient artist, a man who once rose from a hospital bed to become a global symbol of confidence and determination. When people think of Pat Morita, they don't just remember the iconic line, "wax on, wax off," from The Karate Kid. They also remember a man who overcame countless adversities to spread positivity to millions. On November 24, 2005, Pat Morita passed away at the age of 73 due to kidney failure. At the time of his death, his estate was estimated to be around $5 million. His career spanned decades, leaving an indelible mark, especially with his portrayal of Mr. Miyagi in The Karate Kid. After being cremated in Las Vegas, his image as a wise teacher who taught about balance and strength became an eternal symbol of his legacy. In 1977, audiences were taken aback when George Carlin, known for his sharp wit, appeared as Wally Wexler on Welcome Back, Kotter at the age of 40. Famous for breaking all boundaries in comedy, Carlin brought his rebellious style into a school sitcom. But if his appearance on the show was surprising, his real-life story was even more shocking. George Dennis Carlin was born on May 12, 1937 in Manhattan, New York. Raised by a single mother after his father left, Carlin's childhood was tumultuous. His education at strict Catholic schools only intensified his rebellious spirit. This spirit of rebellion became the core of his comedic performances. But behind the laughter was a young man struggling with alcohol and drug addiction choices that would haunt him throughout his life. In 1961, Carlin married Brenda Hosbrook, a waitress he met while traveling for his performances. Their marriage survived his rise to fame and the tumult of his addiction battles. However, when Brenda passed away from liver cancer in 1997, Carlin nearly fell apart. For many years, he admitted that cocaine, alcohol, and even prescription drugs became an inseparable part of his life. Although audiences adored his bold comedic routines, his family had to live through a tumultuous life as he constantly battled with himself. Carlin's career exploded thanks to controversy. His routine 7 dirty words led to a confrontation with the law and the Federal Communications Commission (FCC), cementing his place as one of America's most angry comedians. However, while he was fighting the censors in court, his body was gradually deteriorating. He experienced several heart attacks in 1978, 1982, and 1991. Each one served as a reminder of the consequences of a lifestyle that no joke could erase. Although in the 2000s he still refused to slow down, he checked into rehab in 2004 and declared that he had quit his bad habits. However, his heart never truly recovered. The surgeries and cardiac procedures left scars, making him weaker, yet he still stood on stage and joked about death even as it gradually approached. Audiences saw the genius in him, but his friends saw a man slowly destroying himself. On June 22, 2008, George Carlin passed away from heart failure in Santa Monica, California at the age of 71. His estate, approximately $10 million, reflected decades of groundbreaking comedy and best-selling books. His ashes were scattered at New York nightclubs and at Spayford Lake, where he had camped as a boy. George Carlin's career and life are a testament to perseverance and passion for the arts, despite facing harsh challenges. His image as a symbol of boldness in comedy will live on in the hearts of his fans, inspiring generations to come. In 1975, a 30-year-old man from Brooklyn named Gabe Kaplan appeared on television as Gabe Kotter, a teacher who returns to his old high school to teach the mischievous students of the Sweat Hogs class. No one expected the show, which was built around his comedic routines, to become a cultural hit. However, while the role of Gabe Kotter brought Kaplan fame, his real life was just as full of surprises. Kaplan was born on March 31, 1945, in Brooklyn to a Jewish working-class family. He was not an outstanding student. He even dropped out of New Utrecht High School. However, he discovered his talent for comedy, turning stories about life in Brooklyn into sharp, witty routines. Behind the laughter, Kaplan carried the pressure to achieve something greater after a childhood filled with struggles between failure and ambition. Fame came quickly with Welcome Back, Kotter. However, Kaplan's personal life was fragile. His marriage to Marcia ended in divorce, leaving him to co-parent a daughter whom he kept out of the public eye. Those close to him said that the breakup took a heavy toll on him, causing him significant emotional distress. Although he kept the details of his personal life private, the contrast between the image of a supportive husband on screen and the reality off screen was evident. As the sitcom faded in popularity, Kaplan reinvented himself in a field few comedians dared to explore: high-stakes poker. The poker tables became his second stage, but this time the audience was made up of poker chips. He lost big many times, but those failures couldn't extinguish his fighting spirit. Kaplan rose up with stunning victories, proving that he could turn risks into opportunities, even though they nearly consumed him. Kaplan's entire career was like a constant gamble, always fluctuating between wins and losses. He tried his hand at acting, writing satirical books, and continued performing stand-up comedy, but poker became his signature. Audiences saw him not just as a competitor, but as a sharp commentator on shows like High Stakes Poker. However, Few knew that his identity had shifted from television star to a high-stakes gambler, living with both the thrill of the game and the anxiety of the next hand. Now, 80 years old Gabe Kaplan has an estimated net worth of $50 million earned from poker tables, commentary work, and savvy investments. He lives a quiet life, now still involved with poker but mostly retired, a far cry from the young teacher who once faced off with the sweat hogs. Yet it was his experiences growing up in the city that gave him the raw wisdom that Freddie Washington embodied. Before fame, Lawrence worked a variety of jobs to make a living. From delivering packages and working in shipping to warehouse jobs, he was always chasing a stability that seemed just out of reach. When success finally came, it didn't erase the weight of responsibility. Raising 5 children brought joy, but also meant sleepless nights over bills and uncertain wages. Hollywood didn't always treat a black actor who didn't conform to the simple mold well. Lawrence often had to fight twice as hard to get half the opportunity. Behind the glamour, his life was about providing for his family, far removed from the confidence fans saw on screen. Music became his escape. Lawrence could sing, play the piano, and compose music. As roles became scarcer, he turned to his musical talents. Directing also provided him with a new opportunity, a way to sustain his career even when doors were closing in front of him. For Lawrence, creativity wasn't just a job, it was a way of life. A way to turn fear and frustration into something he could control. Despite facing many setbacks, Lawrence remained determined not to fade into obscurity. From the heights of success to his humble beginnings, he proved that he was not just a one-dimensional actor. While fans saw the artist, his family saw a man of resilience, continually overcoming storms that might have broken someone else. His career was no longer about chasing fame, but about showing his children what true perseverance looks like. Now in 2025, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs is 72 years old. With an estimated net worth of $3 million, he continues to be involved in acting, music, and occasionally directing. The real lives of the cast of Welcome Back, Kotter are sometimes even more dramatic and moving than what they portrayed on screen. Each one carries a unique story, filled with joy, sorrow, and profound life lessons. What about you? Which story surprised or touched you the most? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts. And don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.